New York, big city of dreams.
Ooh, that was a close one. What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Nick of Time Show. Here to give you that Knicks talk. Just in the nick of time, and it's time to talk about a very tightly contested rivals game because the Knicks barely beat the Nets 99-95. OG Anunoby gave you 20 points, 4 rebounds. Cat gave you a ho-hum 25 points and 16 rebound game. Cal gave you 10. Brunson gave you 17. Precious gave you 11 points off the bench. And Josh Hart gives you 7 points, 9 assists, and 12 rebounds. The Knicks played okay defensively, were struggling on offense, shooting 28% from 3. The Knicks lose the rebounding edge, 51-59. And also turnovers. We turned the Nets over a lot and beat them on points off turnovers, all right? Knicks only scored 15 points in the fourth quarter, but despite only scoring 15 points in the fourth, the Knicks prevailed. You also were down like a point. Under 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go, we still found a way to win on a back-to-back night, beating the Nets 9 games straight. We're going to talk about it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there was some ugliness. We going to talk about it. Trust me. Trust me. But, welcome, Ebony. Welcome. But before we talk about it, you already know the deal. I'm going to introduce you to my guy, the Latin assassin, ESPN contributor, Post and Toast contributor, Bleacher Report contributor, Lee Escobedo. What's good, Lee?
What's good? Oh man, sorry I missed last podcast. I was in Washington D.C. at Trump's inauguration in my full MAGA gear, cheering on Trump. JK, y'all, appreciate Ebony and Jay Ellis setting the record straight. No, I am not a Trump fan by any means necessary. Some people who I love the most are Trump fans. I am not. I'm an independent. Jay Ellis said it best. And guess what? Biden's term is over, and it is time to roast our MAGA friends for the next 4 years. Man, Jay Ellis, good win. Glad we got that W. If we would have lost to the Nets on Rivals Day, no less, basically with a JV roster, it would have been really embarrassing, and this show would have been really dark and down. But instead, we got that W, a much-needed W, against a team that we should beat, which we don't need because we have a tough schedule coming up.
Absolutely. And of course, you already know what it is. It's our DXD1 baller, Ebony, joining the program. What's going on, Ebony? Just in time. What's good?
I'm good, chilling. Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but it's still a W.
Exactly.
It's still a W. At the end of the day, we could say we won this game. Not how we won it. We had hope to get our guys some rest, but hey. We got a W. I'm gonna stop saying maybe we get our guys some rest. Maybe it'll happen if I stop saying that before the games.
Right. I already figured out the Minutes police are outside and they are searching for Tibbs. Tibbs is on the run. Last seen on the Brooklyn Bridge driving back to New York. The Minutes police are hot on his tail. If you hurry, maybe you guys can catch him. Maybe you'll catch him before the next game. We'll see what happens. All right. We'll see what happens. You already know I am in Jay Ellis Nick Time Show. Let's get it. Listen, man. Listen. There was a lot to like about this game. There was a lot to like about this game. Offensively, it was atrocious. But that's a Tibbs thing, and we'll get to that in a second. But defensively, to me, there was a lot to like. I really liked Wingstop's defense from first quarter to fourth quarter for the most part. To me, we fought over screens really well. Karl-Anthony Towns, to me, this might have been his best defensive game of the season for me, Karl-Anthony Towns. I saw him actually challenge shots at the rim put his hands up multiple times. I mean, pick and roll defense, you might always have some problems with pick and roll defense with Karl Anthony Towns because of his foot speed. But like I actually saw him challenge a good amount of shots at the rim and without causing a foul. There was a lot of good things defensively that we did. It was just, to me, we just did not finish off our defensive plays by boxing out and getting those long rebounds, because the Nets are shooting a lot of threes, so it caused a lot of long rebounds, which caused a lot of second chance points, which caused a lot of our rebounding problems. But defensively, I felt like we've taken a step in the right direction. Offensively and other facets of the game, there's some things to be desired, and I can get into that a little bit later. But I want to get your thoughts on the game. I'll start out with you, Lee.
This whole season, I've liked the slow progression, campaigns, stream navigation, and I think we really missing Deucent Bride, who has been excellent at navigating streams, which helps us guard the PNR, which gives us another weapon potentially to switch depending on the matchup on the perimeter. And I thought he was fantastic tonight. Him and OG really stood out to me. Great defensive possessions.
Yeah.
Even though OG struggled offensively in the first half, I thought when he was struggling, he would have a bounce back play on the defensive end, particularly him guarding the rim. I thought he was really effective at swaying shots and affecting the percentage around the rim too, which we've seen him in that type of action before early on. Jay Ellis and I mentioned that the pre-switch with Cat out of the pick and roll and let OG be the rim protection. I think it works in spurts. It's something that we have the opportunity to try when Cat doesn't have it some nights. But as you mentioned too, Cat, I thought as well was good guarding the rim, even guarding the perimeter too. I think continuing on some of the progress that I've heard about him in the last game, he was guarding the perimeter pretty well at the level. So I was happy overall with the defensive effort. We really needed it. If this hadn't been the Brooklyn Nets, this game could have gone differently. That's might have been the worst rotation I've seen in the NBA. Like collectively, that 9-man, 10-man rotation for the Nets was really god awful.
Yeah.
But once again, as good as we were defensively, those options and the opportunities that we allow as the best possible shot that we give up, man, ends up being a role player who goes off on us again. And there were guys who I didn't even know existed before tonight's game were diming us up and dropping threes and even getting us at the rim. That's always disappointing, but for some reason it seems to be a Knicks tradition.
Yeah. What you thinking, Ebony?
Yeah, it was ugly, but we had some spurts, but that's when it close games because we did have some laps. We had a lot of times where it was a game of runs. You had them go on a run, we went on a run. We answer, they answer. That's just basically how it was. A bunch of people were where the Nets couldn't score buckets in minutes, and then we had where we couldn't score buckets for minutes, and it kept going through it like that throughout the whole game. What I liked though was the bench, and especially in the first half, I felt that our bench has been giving us energy. All of them, Shaman on both ends, playing very aggressive defense, that pick and roll defense. And I thought Tibbs did a better job in the first half, staggering. I think Jalen Brunson got a long rest in that first half, and he had Cat out there with the bench for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then he kind of put in Cat and Precious together. Well, no, Cat and I think it was OG. It might have been Cat and OG for a minute with the bench. And then when the starters came, he played with the starters for a little bit and then sat Cat for the end of the half, actually, kind of sort of. And I just thought that like you mentioned, the second chance points, we got to make sure we limit those. And people are killing. It must be a memo. Go after the Knicks when they unset. Push them in transition.
Yep.
Hit them when they're unset, because every time, every game, that's when teams make comebacks. When we can't hit shots and they're able to push, or if we're turning the ball over and they're able to push. So they're looking to make, get in transition as much as possible, and then that seems to be the main problem when we let teams back in or take the lead. That's what I'm noticing.
Yeah, leak outs have been an issue, especially with this team. This team is pretty athletic and pretty fast. OG Anunoby, I love you defensively. Offensively, he was woof from the 3-point line. And it's like when we missed a lot of shots that were wide open shots, really great shots. We got a lot of good shots in the first half, and we just bricked them. And automatically that turned into transition offense for the Nets. and we can never get back. And a lot of the offense just happened to be off of actually good shots where we just didn't get back. So that has to be cleaned up, especially off teams like this who leak a lot.
And you know,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
facts. And you know what else happens too, Jay, with that? Because we do have a ball dominant, point guard the way we do at times, and he goes from the top of the key with his, getting into his moves or his ISO or whatever the case may be. If nobody rotates, we give up so many easy baskets because there's nobody to balance the floor. So that happened today a couple times in a crucial spot. I think we down. They tied the game up or came up by 2 on a Jalen Brunson ISO, and nobody rotates in his spot to get back. And now I believe it was Cam Johnson or somebody had a wide open layup at a crucial part of the game. Things like that we have to limit because like Lee mentioned, if this is a good team, we don't win this game. Because we did have some miscommunications in that clutch area, but we'll get to that. I know we will. That Cam Johnson, he got a crazy look off of a miscommunication off of pick and rolls. That stuff like that we need
Yeah.
to limit,
Are you talking about the
especially in
close?
clutch. Huh?
Are you talking about the close, the game, that last shot?
Yeah, when
Yeah.
Cam, last
Yeah.
Cam, it was a miscommunication. I think it was Mikal
Precious.
and Precious.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was it Mikal? I know it was definitely Precious involved in that. And yeah, if that's a good team, with the likes of a their superstar getting that shot, that same shot, we might be having a different conversation right now.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So like for me, it's like, all right, the defense was on par for sure. Minutes policing, Ebony kind of mentioned it. Tibbs did a good job of staggering in the second unit. They actually gave us a lead. Actually, I want to highlight Precious Achua for a second. We've been talking about Precious Achua's lack of offense. Today hit the corner 3. Okay, corner 3. Okay, Gary Channel, I see you with the super chat for that corner 3. He gave you a spin move today. He moved really well out the ball, found himself cutting perfectly, getting to the rim for some easy dunks. I feel like Precious Achua gave our bench a big lift. Even though Campaign and Shamit didn't really score, like they were still kind of a part of that push.
Mm-hmm.
And Tibbs never went back to them. And we end up scoring 15 points in the fourth quarter. And as Ebony would say, a lot of those shots were open shots. A lot of those shots were short shots. Everybody on the second half of back-to-back was playing 38, 39 minutes from our starters. We ended up winning the game, but it was a tight one. And funny enough, I kind of felt like the Nets helped us win that game because within the last 3 or 4 minutes, they called consecutive timeouts. And I feel like those consecutive timeouts within like a minute of each other kind of gave Jalen Brunson some rest, and he was able to hit some clutch baskets back to back just because of the amount of timeouts that were called between the Nets and the Knicks in that like fourth quarter. But it was looking shaky for a while just because there was one point we only scored 5 points in that fourth quarter, and it was like what 6 minutes left in the game. It was kind of crazy.
At one point, they had mentioned we were 1 for 9 at like probably like the 7-minute mark. 1 for 9 in the fourth quarter. So, like we mentioned, we were getting good shots. It's just everything was short. Everything, no matter who it was. But that's why I kind of like granted OG there and have a good shooting night. I like that he took a page out of Mikel's book of the cutting and constant movement because we were hitting our cutters today, definitely hitting it. And I love to see it. If we could keep that flowing and keep that going, they're working through it, so it's not going to be perfect. But as much as we keep on going that route, we're going to be all right. Because like you mentioned, the 3-pointer doesn't go in the fourth quarter sometimes. And these past 2 games, instead of us just feeding into it, we found other ways, either trying to get defense off of offense or, just constant movement, constant putting pressure on the defense.
This.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now I was just gonna say, and about Payne, you had mentioned real quick about his he's not really scoring that much. But what Payne did is he definitely give. I think he got like he plays the passing lanes pretty well. I like
Yeah.
that. He's a good help defender. That he is. He's always looking to swiping drives or play the passing lane. And also another thing he does is he puts pressure on the defense to get
Right.
when he getting into the rim. He likes to try to get into the paint and eat. And sometimes he'll go shoot it, and a lot of times he'll look to set up for others. So yeah, I like that Benjamin in the first half today too.
Yeah.
I did.
The dime pass, the hesitation into the paint, the pass pressure situation, he was one of the plays of the game from campaign that helped kind of propel the second unit. Go ahead, Lee. Go ahead.
If there was a game to try some fancy passes and really try to concentrate on gaining chemistry with the cutters, it's against the Nets. Nets are not only one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA, they're the second worst in steals. So it's not really even a part of their game plan in terms of how they defend. They're not playing the passing lanes. It's not a point of emphasis. You might as well risk it. And I think that was probably part of a scouting report was like, let's really try to the backdoor cutters, not rely so much on ISO or so much on pick and roll and try to diversify and just stay moving. The good shots will come. And that really, we needed that because that fourth quarter, that was pretty brutal. I watched a lot of hoops. I don't see too many instances where a team only scores like 3 points in the first 8 minutes of a quarter. I wanted to ask. I think attrition and tiredness is a part of it. I'm not by any means part of the minutes police. I think that was it's an element. I think it's more the offensive OG was a major component. But I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think was the reason that we went in that really horrid, wretched drought in the fourth?
I it's both to me. It's like the OG has been off since the Nuggets. OG also played 40 minutes yesterday. So like there was a time where OG was at the rim and he missed like 2 or 3 bunnies at the rim.
Yes.
In that fourth quarter. But before that, he was missing wide open corner threes, and that was a staple. He was missing wide open corner threes in the first quarter. So it's like it was that. Also, Cat's thumb seems to be an issue with his shooting. Like anything outside of the 3-point line hasn't really been hitting since he's come back from injury. I see him when he's running back. He's kind of like tapping his thumb, re-tapping his tape. So like anything 3-point line out is not good. It seems like if he's like maybe under the foul line, he has a better shot of hitting it. And until his finger heals up completely, I feel like his 3-point shot might not be where it was. And I kind of feel like it's kind of a huge weapon that we are missing in general until we get that back. I mean, he can still pass, but like there's been the times he just had wide open shots and he missed it. And then I really feel like it's tired legs, to be honest with you. I feel like it's tired legs, OG missing wide open shots. Like even Brunson missed some wide open shots too, or shots that he was making. He was like 4 for 14. Like that's not a Brunson game. So I don't know. What do you think, Ebony?
Yeah, I agree. But I like again Towns doing other things and I can think he realizes that he can't really get a good grip or shoot as well right now with the thumb because he was doing a good job of himself cutting and driving to the basket and posting up, trying to and constant movement, trying to get himself as close to the basket as possible instead of having to shoot maybe a layup or whatever. Yeah, he did all right. 11 for 18 from the field is pretty decent. And when you look at the 3-pointers, you got to be tired legs because nobody could hit.
Yeah.
Josh Hart was the highest. Him and Achua for 1 for 2. You got OG 2 for 6 from these 3-pointers. Towns 0 for 3. Bridges 2 for 6. Brunson 1 for 4. McBride 1 for 3. Payne 0 for 2. So nobody. We shot 28% from 3. That's atrocious. No, it has to be, because they were getting today. Normally, I'd be like ISO ball, ISO ball, ISO ball. We were moving the ball, we were moving our bodies, we were passing the ball around, we were getting good looks. It just everything mentioned short. That lets you know tired legs. And I thought again, I don't like you mentioned. I don't understand why Tibbs didn't kind of redo what he did in the first half,
Right.
with the bench in the second half.
Exactly.
I don't get why he didn't do that.
Like I feel like our defense was on point for 4 quarters once again. I mean, there might have been some lapses on communication, but there wasn't like long stretches to me. I mean, I mean, at least the transition defense is probably the only thing you can really point to where you say, okay, that could be cleaned up. But when it came to half court defense, right? A lot of the things that we've been complaining about was the wide open threes. We were like 26 in the league in open threes. Although this team isn't a good 3-point shooting team, there wasn't open threes today. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of those threes that was taken were contested. So I feel like we did a good job rotating. But you know, with extending all that energy on defense, you kind of, if you're playing 40 minutes a game that hard on defense, your legs might be going for offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good time. I asked that question because I had a wider point that I wanted to make, and I wanted to see if there was some common agreement between us. It seems there is. When I think about winning the championship or our playoff run, the only team in the East that really causes any concern to me is Celtics, obviously defending champs. And the reason that I feel like right now, this might surprise some of our viewers, I don't think we can beat the Celtics yet in a 7-game series. And the reason is not just because our defense has a lot of lapses. It's the volume and accuracy that the Celtics are shooting the 3-point ball. And I don't think that will course correct until OG Anunoby finds his shot or heals up or gets rest, gets better legs, whatever it is, gets a lift back in the shot. To me, OG is a key to us being able to stay with the Boston Celtics in 3-point shooting. Right now, the Knicks are averaging 35 attempts a game. The Celtics are averaging 48. The Knicks are averaging 13 mates a game. The Celtics 18. That translates roughly to not a lot of variance. 37.7% accuracy for the Knicks and 36% accuracy for the Celtics. Oddly enough, even though it doesn't feel like it, the Knicks are still top 5 in 3-point percentage. But here's the really big metric, and the reason I think we're going to fall behind. When you look at frequency, and this plays into how often they shoot the three, how often the three is a part of their offense. This is one of the metrics the Celtics blow everyone else out the water. 54% 3-point frequency. Nets highest, 46.5, the Chicago Bulls. The Knicks are toward the bottom 10 of the NBA in frequency. That shows that they need on a heater and really throw a barrage where now we're trading 3 points for 2, or even worse, for missing threes, 3-point for none. And that's where I think we need that. To me, is a metric offensively that we still have a way to go in order to really contend with them in the playoffs. And again, I think it goes back to OG Anunoby, who has been ass crack terrible. And it's not just that he's shot the worst, it's he is missing the ones in the flow of the offense, the ones that are being ran for him, but also the ones in the fast break where he's the open trailer and he's breaking the shot, which then leads to an defensive rebound, a long one that gives them a transition point on the other end. It leads to turnovers as well and quick shots. So that's just something I wanted to bring up. It's a concern of mine, and I think that, again, OG is a key to us returning back to the norm.
Well, it's funny enough. I kind of had this. We kind of mentioned this early before. Like I didn't think we were ready to beat the Celtics before either, for a similar reason. Because I don't think we're ever going to be hit threes at the volume of the Celtics. Like I feel like we have to go another route honestly to beat the Celtics. Like I like we have Karl Anthony Towns here, who's I feel like we have to take advantage of their switching defense and punish them for putting smalls on Karl Anthony Towns and kind of rack up fouls on them and get like and ones and stuff that way, like, and slow the game down. Like that to me is really how the blueprint to beat the Celtics. Cause I don't think we're going to be able to match them 3 for 3 in a shootout in a series.
No, I agree. It's especially because the common theme of the season is we've been in top 5 for 3-point percentage majority of this year. Is that we don't take a lot. So nowhere in the world, that's been the whole season. We've been the top 3 in percentage, but when it comes to attempts, it's like bottom of the barrel. That has kind of been our theme the whole season that I can remember looking at the team stats. Going through the team stats.
Mm-hmm.
With Boston, because they do it like a team so much, that Tatum and Brown are going to get some points or try to. You try to make it difficult on them and take away that 3-point. Since they rely on it so much, you try to take that away from it, and that's not our strength. So that's when it becomes okay. Like, you're gonna give the team that likes to take 3-pointers and is efficient with them 3-pointers. That's gonna be a recipe for disaster.
Right.
So I think with them, you just try not to let the others get involved. Don't let the others get involved, because then you can focus. So you can focus more on the stars of the team, and you make them cold. I think we can beat Boston. Is we have to play a very smart game. If we play the type of defense that I saw yesterday with the concepts, the philosophies that we did, like pushing, using the baseline as another defender. We did that a lot yesterday, and our help was there too. So now you got basically three people on a player when you do that. And they did that a lot yesterday with the Trey Youngs and DeAndre Hunters. So if we kind of do that with Boston, I think with the aggressiveness, I think we have a shot.
I don't know. I think to go back to Jay's point, Karl-Anthony Towns being so dominant, especially when we did him in pick and roll, being able to take anyone off the dribble and get to the hole on his own with a live dribble. That is what gives us even an opportunity to compete with the Celtics. To me, that's not an advantage we have, that we're going to win through that. We had that. That's why we're even in the same conversation. But in order to be better than the Celtics and beat them in a 7-game series, I really think we need to increase our volume and 3-point attempts while maintaining our accuracy. And the only way that we can do that, you think about shot selection and who's not hitting or who's not getting shots, it's OG. OG is the one who needs more volume, but also needs to finally hit them. Because I've seen the Celtics leave in the finals. They let PJ Washington open. And Washington had killed Thunder the series before, but they knew after that first game, they watched him, they were leaving him open. He choked. They'll start leaving OG open if they feel like that his shot isn't progressing to the mean. It won't be hard to leave it open. So be Precious and OG, and that could be a recipe for disaster, because then we really are trading 2 points for 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it is? Like, for me, I don't think the Celtics shoot so many threes that it's just it's just not our style. Like, so, like, let's say best case scenario, OG Anunoby starts to hit his threes like he used to. Like, on average, how many shoots he's shooting a game? Like, what? 4 or 5 or something?
4 or 5, I would guess.
Yeah. And like, he's not like a super high volume 3-point shooter in general. Like the super high volume 3-point shooters be shooting like 7 or 8. You know what I'm saying? We don't have guys shooting 7 or 8 threes on our team, which is why
He takes about 6, Jay. He takes about 6, 5.8.
He takes about 5.8. Okay,
higher than I thought.
That's higher than I thought. That's high. So he's shooting 6, which is higher than I thought. So he usually shoots 6 at 40%. Cool. Mikal Bridges, he's off and on. He's like mid range. How much is Mikal? How many is Mikal shooting a game?
Oh, I got you right now. Give me a minute. He is shooting 6.8 this year.
6.8.
Almost 7 attempts.
Is that a career high?
Yeah, that's pretty high.
Last year with the Nets he was at 7.2.
Okay.
So is Jalen Brunson shooting lower than usual? And shooting lower than last year? I feel like maybe that's what it is. Because I feel like he was shooting a lot of pull-ups last year. Maybe he's shooting lower.
I feel like definitely lower in pull-ups. I feel like he's more catch and shoot this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. More I feel the same. More catch and shoot. Let me get this. My phone tweaking. Give me a minute.
You know who we're missing? We haven't talked about Cat, whose volume absolutely needs to go up because he is statistically the best shooter in the NBA. I saw a chart. No one has a higher percentage on their 3-point shot in traffic over a certain amount of minutes as a starter than Karl-Anthony Towns, but he's way behind in terms of volume.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson's at 5.9 at 3-point attempts so far, and 39% basically. And he is last year he was almost at 7 at 6.8. And last year was a career high in attempts for him per game.
Right. I guess my thing is, like, do you want Cat shooting 8 threes a game or 7 threes a game? Because
yes.
But like this you're saying yes, but last season in the playoffs for Cat, when his 3 went away from him, he kept going to it, and is the reason, one of the big reasons why the Timberwolves lost. A lot of reason why people were saying Cat is having the season he's having this year is because he's able to mix it up. So do you really want to go away from that? Like, Because it seems like he's having like damn near MVP season playing the way he's playing right now. So it's like, how much do you want to stray from that? You know what I'm saying?
He's at 5 attempts at 4.9 technically, and 43.3% for the year. So he's taking almost five at 43%.
Yeah, I definitely say more. I think if you change his shot die to 4 more 3 attempts, not 4 makes, but 4 attempts, to me, that doesn't shift the dynamic too much. The point you're making about the Mavs series, agree. He shot them out of that series after playing fantastic before that. But he has to learn. I think he has learned when to defer and let Jalen Brunson get back to being the point of attack, or giving it to Bridges to go on ball. Knowing when to step back, but also knowing when to rev it up. When you have your shot going and they can't guard you, who can guard them, right? We see 7 foot tall with an unbelievable high arc. It's game over.
I feel you. I feel you. Well, it'll be interesting to see how when's the Celtics game? That's gonna be a big one to circle.
And sorry for bringing up the Celtics. The Nets to me are just like an experiment, right?
Yeah.
I'm just using the Nets talking about the Celtics because it matters more. Sorry.
Yeah, it does. Like, okay, whatever. We need the next game. What's
OG is actually, this is like, I want to say his second lowest percentage in his career from three right now at 34. So he'll pick it up. I'm guessing he'll pick it up.
Yep.
His second year he shot 33%.
You wonder if it also has to do with it being his healthiest year too. Because he's played every game. And he's probably used to sitting by now. Like he's on pace to play the whole season. He's usually only averaging 60 games a season. And he's like, his body's like, wait a minute, I never played this many consecutive games before in my entire life. What do I do? I guess I'll start breaking now. I don't know.
The most games he's ever played in the season is 74. He had a 74. That was his rookie season, actually.
Yeah, and it looks like he might be on his way to. I mean, not say knock on wood. He might be on his way to beating this rookie season this year.
Yeah, hopefully. So yeah, I like the attempts we get, and if we can continue to do that, eventually something will fall. It wasn't self-inflicted droughts where we just pounding the ball to nowhere.
Right.
We just couldn't really hit a shot today. So it's good to see that some stuff that happened yesterday transferred today in this game, and because that's what you want. You're trying to do building blocks. Granted, it was an ugly loss, but a lot of stuff from the last game did transfer to today.
Yeah.
So that's what I was mainly looking for.
Me too.
I'm going to continue to see if that trend, that keeps happening.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to watch last game. Obviously, I wasn't here to pod, so I don't know what trends they were. But the one I can see without watching the game is the 9-man rotation, which I am very happy to see, and I do hope is that move that Tibbs makes every season that we've usually around January, late December, early January, he makes a rotation move or a minutes move or a lineup move. Hopefully, it's this. Keeping Shamet in that 9-man rotation, maybe even it goes up to 10, or perhaps Shamet sits when Mitch comes back and you play Mitch and Precious. I like it, man. It's giving our guys some rest, and it also allows the bench to show, is there someone who can be a spark tonight? You can't really find out if you don't play more than 12, 14 minutes. And some nights it's Cam. Tonight, Precious was a huge lift off the bench. Other nights, it's Deuce McBride.
Yeah, I got it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jackie.
No, I was going to say, I felt like the defense to me was something that carried over from yesterday to today, which I really love. Held them to over 100 points. Not a lot of open 3-point shots. I feel like I said earlier, the way we fought over picks was probably one of the best I've seen this year with Wingstop, McCall, and OG just fighting over screens relentlessly. To me, Tibbs still can do better with the minutes, man. Like, I don't like that Shamet only played the first half. Like, he played 5 minutes in the first half. I guarantee he didn't score. But it's like, we gotta continue to get some of these guys some rest in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
It was too many minutes for all the guys in the second half. Shamet should have got more minutes. He only played 6 minutes today. Even Campaign, he wasn't as effective offensively because he didn't score, but he was getting in the paint. I still would have liked to see more Campaign minutes in the second half as well, just to give these guys a breather. like you said, Lee, you haven't seen many teams who only scored 5 points within 8 minutes of play, and I have to believe that the tired legs had a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm. And I got the chance to kind of watch some of the game over yesterday, and I noticed that kind of similar to today, how the bench took the lead. That's what happened in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
In the first game, they took the lead, and it was a stretch where it was all bench points. I think it was Deuce, a Payne three, a Deuce three, and a Shamit dunk.
Mm-hmm.
So that they went on the bench, went on their own mini run, and you kind of again seen that today. And a shout out to Tibbs because he didn't do it the second half though, but in that first half, what he did was he allowed Cat to play without the other starters. Maybe hopefully get him into the playmaking bag, which because him and Deuce had a couple of 2-man plays, and I'm like, let's try to implement this with JB a little bit more. They were working well off each other. He was able to feed Deuce a couple times to get him some good open looks and let him get into the flow of things without the other starters too, and kind of staggered it off. And then instead of going straight back to the starters, he brought the OG back in, or he'll bring Mikal back in and let him play with Deuce and Payne. So I like that. Hopefully that continues and he'll able to use that a little bit more in the second half, and not just the first because it seems to work.
Yeah. If the bench, especially the bench gave you the lead in the first half, like we were down before the bench guy came in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
we should have leaned more on the bench in the second half, but we got the win, damn man. We got the win.
Can I give a shout out to my guy Deuce though?
Yes, give a shout out to your guy Deuce.
I have to. The growth in Deuce, I'm so proud. He's just grown again. You never know what a player can add, and Deuce is not doing anything out of his norm. He's just doing what the defense gives him. Like he's literally doing what the defense gives me. Okay, you're gonna let me get this pull up jump shot? I'll
Yeah.
take it. Okay, you want to give me this 3-pointer? I'm going to take it. Oh, okay, you got Claxton or Capella on me. Okay, I got you. I am going to take them to the bucket. And you see just the growth in general. Because before, one of my main keys for Deuce was he had to get that handle together. I remember telling him I needed him to be like the Nike commercial, the do do do. Remember that old school?
yeah, that commercial was dope.
I needed him to be like that all through the street. If you go to the Chinese restaurant, that ball need to be with you. But I see the growth. I see the growth. And I hope to continue to see it. But I had to shout out Deuce. He does it on both ends. He stabilizes our defense. He really does when he's in there. So yeah, shout outs to Deuce.
Yeah. There was times we couldn't finish at the rim. There was times where he couldn't go left. There was times, man. There was times.
Yeah.
There was times when he couldn't shoot the three. That seems like a long time ago. But he's really rounded out his game pretty well
Right.
to be like a kind of an instant offense 3-point shooter off the bench who's going to give you tenacious defense. So definitely great game for Deuce. Really sparked in that first half. To me was a shining moment in that first half when he was able to hit some pull-up threes and help the bench start to pull away and gain a lead.
And doing it on the best contract in the NBA as well.
Yes, sir. Shouts to that. Leon Rose.
Facts on facts.
Yeah. Let's get to these super chats. So I see you guys. Thank you guys for the support. For sure. Thank you guys for the super chats. Gaming Channel gives a $10 super chat. If you guys don't know, Gaming Channel has pledged to donate $10 every time Precious Achua hits a three.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So he hit a three today. So he gave us $10 and he says, let's go. 9 in a row over the Nets. Second straight game. Tibbs goes to his 9-man rotation in the first quarter. Cat was a monster again. Last but not least, my boy Precious 3 to the dome. I see you.
And Jay, the one thing I do like about that too is he hit one and they went right back to him.
They did go right back to him.
Yeah.
That second unit went right back to him. Shout out to Jean Mark who sends a $5 super chat. Says good win, ugly but good defense. Yeah, man, we play some good defense, man. This is the Knicks team I remember from last year to play defense from the first to the fourth quarter. We had 2 games in a row where we played defense from the first to the fourth quarter. So I'm pretty happy about our half court defense for sure. Just get those rebounds and get into your transition.
Yeah. And again with the good offense, trying to keep the players in flow. I noticed we were flash. I think it was Cat to Precious, and he did a little spin move because he had the momentum like a running move. So he can. It's not stand still and let me pump fake and try to go up. It was very in the flow of offense. I like that passing and I like our movement. I really did today and yesterday. So again, I'm gonna be looking who we play next. Who do we play next? I forget. I'm gonna be looking to see if that transfers. I'm looking right now.
I don't think it's to the weekend. I think we have a couple of days off.
Thank you.
Amen.
For real. we need that.
We sure do. Yo.
We need that. We play, I tell you right. Oh, we play Sacramento. Yeah, we do have a we get some days off, y'all.
Amen.
We play on Saturday. We play on Saturday.
That's great. I'll take that. I'll take that matchup too.
Oh, then we on that's the West Coast. That's the West Coast trip.
Okay.
We have listen to these names here. Sacramento, Memphis, and Denver. Then the Lakers and Houston. That's the 5 games we have out west.
Memphis.
And then we come back on the East Coast to get Toronto, Boston, and then the Pacers. Atlanta, Chicago, and Cleveland.
Pacers is kind of playing a little better too.
Yeah, they doing it. They playing better right now. So
don't sleep on Sacramento. They're playing well too.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sleeping on Sacramento. That's why I said listen to these names.
They got better defensively too.
That schedule not nothing to play with. You want to say the Lakers and Toronto are the ones where you could be like, all right, we get a little break.
Yeah.
But then we come back to the East Coast. We got to play Toronto. We play Boston. We play the Pacers and Atlanta back to back. 2 people I cannot stand.
Oh my God.
Halliburton. I don't say that baby name right.
We're gonna be on that's a back-to-back game.
It's not back to back. Oh yeah, it is. Oh, it definitely is.
Oh
Tuesday,
my
Wednesday,
God.
Pacers, Atlanta.
That is gonna be brutal.
That's
gonna be a track meet food. If there's any time to use a 12-man rotation, it's gonna be Atlanta into the Pacers.
Yeah, and we go into the All-Star break, y'all. We go into the All-Star break on a back-to-back. And we come from the All-Star break to a back-to-back. So we have Pacers in Atlanta, and mind you, we're playing at the Indiana Pacers, it says. And then we back at the Garden. How many times we played them at the Garden? No way that's at the Garden. That got to be a mistype. And then we come back from the All-Star break, and we have Chicago, Cleveland, Boston, Philly, Memphis, Miami, Golden State. Yeah.
Chicago, Cleveland, Boston. Chicago, and here's the thing: Chicago is usually like, we could be. Chicago gives us problems.
We don't. Yeah, but we don't.
Chicago gives us problems. Woo! You lace up these Nikes, man. This is gonna get tough.
Mm-hmm. It don't get no easier.
It does not get no easier. So if there's ever a time to get those habits top notch A1, it is right now for sure.
Yes. Woo. It's about to get interesting.
Very interesting. Well, yeah. One more guy I'd like to mention. I just shout out to Jalen Brunson. Horrible shooting game today, but hit some clutch baskets when we needed him. It looked like he was out of gas. They called a few timeouts. He dug deep. I just remember him. I had like a flashback of him training with his dad in the park, and his dad just kept going again. And he's looking pissed as he's running, doing like full sprints up and down the court and shooting shots tired as hell. I had to imagine he was pulling from there when he was trying to shoot fadeaways over 6'7" dudes with 1 minute left in the game and hitting it. So I'm glad he had that mental fortitude to kind of fight through the pain and the tiredness to help us close out that game. So shout out to Jalen Brunson, who hit some big shots. And he also even taught Karl-Anthony Towns, who hit like a little hook shot in the paint, because our stars really had to kind of bring us home today.
Yeah. And I again, to mention with the Jalen Brunson, he's trying to do better with the playmaking. You see him trying to hit the cutters more often, little bounce pass, get to the flow of the game, even impact, again, him trying to impact the game with when his shot's not going well. And you see staying in the flow of things kind of helped, because he was able to hit some buckets at the end. I think he had about, 8 points he scored in the fourth quarter? I'm not sure. about 8, 10 points he scored in the fourth quarter. So that's what your stars do. They may not have it, but you hold them down until they can come through for you in the fourth quarter majority of the time. And
Exactly.
that's one of the things I want to talk to y'all too about is that I've noticed more so lately how the team looks like they're trying to help him with playmaking. Like they don't want him to have that sole responsibility to be the playmaker, get some of the pressure and responsibility off of him because you see Cat helping more with the playmaking. You see, of course, you see Hart, Payne, Deuce. Like it seems like they're intentionally trying to get him more off ball and less with having the responsibility to be the sole playmaker.
Yeah, I saw OG Anunoby calling for the Towns pick and roll for the first time this season. I didn't see that all season. I was like, wait, what? I was like, like OG has that in his that little bounce pass, pocket pass in his bag to Carlene Towns on the roll. I was like, okay, interesting. Cool, I'll take it.
It's been part of Tibbs' philosophy since Josh Hart arrived. I've said it many podcasts. He used him on the left, right elbows and that Draymond action, trying to get Brunson going as a catch and shoot option, just so he doesn't have to wear himself out so much being on ball. But I posted that link in our group chat about that conversation Gilbert Arenas had with his co-host on the show about the lack of play calling that's happening in the NBA and how so much of it is just kind of freewheeling with a ball dominant guard, creating action for himself or others, and not so much like sidelines coaching, calling out a play, and they run it to multiple options. One of the things they mentioned in that I think would really help Jalen Brunson, it's a very simple action, is just that pistol action. You do it between him and Deuce to where Deuce has either downhill opportunities or be able to curl around to the 3-point line, or Cameron Payne. Also, it doesn't have to be guard to big, it can be guard to guard. Our guards, for the most part, I haven't seen anyone be really horrible at dribble handoffs or that little dump pass that you need that's required in the pistol action. But that's a really simple set you don't see very often in the NBA, especially the really good teams. Don't run a whole lot of pistol. But that could be something that Brunson and Tibbs implement just to get him a little bit of rest and get him shooting quick without having to be so on ball and dribbling seconds off a clock and trying to get himself some space between him and his defender. Just something quick in rhythm that gets you going.
I feel like we did pistol like 2 seasons ago, if I remember correctly.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Tibbs is a coach for a reason. I'm not, but I think it's something that I wouldn't mind seeing more of because it makes sense, right? Like I try to come up with an argument against it. Why not? Like, what would running that take away from? And I couldn't think of something besides maybe a 3-point opportunity off ball for Mikal or OG, but early, the same way that we tried to get other guys going. Let's get Brunson going with some catch and shoot opportunities.
Yeah, I feel they're trying though. I definitely do. I know about Josh Hart. We seen him be a playmaker all year, basically. Him getting others involved. But now we're seeing more so them leaning into Cat because I remember asking why we don't allow him. He's a great passer, and it seems like he gets more into the game when he's able to do his little, he start feeling himself, and then now you start seeing campaign, creating for others, trying to break down the defense to get in the paint, to draw them, to get other people points. You see Deuce try to help out with the playmaking ability. Even like you mentioned, you see some 2-man with Cat and OG. Just so I just think them taking that off of Brunson and so he doesn't have to think as much as, okay, let me get my guys involved. It comes all within the flow of the game.
Yes.
Awesome. All good points. All right, yo. I think we can talk about everything else. Want to get to the oohs and the bras.
I feel like, I got a bruh pick. Yeah, I'm sorry, he's my guy, guy from Twitter, my guy Paulie. I'm not gonna say his whole name.
Oh,
but my guy Paulie, I got to do for you. I got to do it,
Bruh.
They make bookmarks for a reason, Paulie. Next bookmark. First thing I see on Twitter is a Martin Luther King quote, and then like the craziest picture I've ever seen, just right there in the open. I'm just gonna say Arby's.
I saw it too.
It's just gonna be
Is what?
It's okay. Female genitalia. There you go.
Oh, what?
It was like a porn video.
I gotta get my bro. Bookmark that thing, please. Don't make us all suffer.
Wow. Okay.
That's my guy. He's a good dude too. Bookmark that thing.
We at last. Never mind. All right.
You imagine the first thing you see is like, all right, it's all good. You got Martin Luther Jr. quote, and then boom, right after it. I was like, I'm glad nobody was around me when I opened.
Man, I'm having flashbacks of the Boondocks Martin Luther King episode. At the end of the episode, Martin Luther King is speaking. He's fed up with what he sees. Y'all just a bunch of. Never mind.
Now that's my comfort show. I know that back in yes. One of the favorite scenes and Riley getting mad at him for eating all the cheddar biscuit. Boondocks is a good show. Classic.
Oh, man,
classic.
classic.
RBs, yes.
Oh man. Yeah, bro, Pitt.
Jeez.
For sure.
Sorry, I had to do
Paulie.
it to you, Paulie.
Bruh.
Yeah, he's my guy.
On Martin Luther King Day is crazy. I got a bruh pick. My bruh pick goes to one of the biggest Knicks haters on national television. None other than Shaq and the Fool. Shaq and the Fool.
Bruh.
I just don't understand how he had this whole monologue about how he does not hate the Knicks. And then right after that, bets $1,000 to one of his co-hosts that the Knicks are going to lose to the Nets by 6 points. Like, have you been watching the NBA? Have you? They did a whole graphic how he beat them eight games straight. I just don't understand why Shaq hates the Knicks so much. I just feel now at this point, I just feel like it's a troll job. I think it's a troll job.
Nah, he really can't stand us. So his I always tell people, hate can blind a man, and that's what you get with Shaq. He hates us so much that he can't see past his own hate. He'd rather sound ignorant than give us props. Like, and at the point that you got to leave with, I'm not a Nick hater because we've proven so many times how big of a hater you are. So it's just like, all right, respectfully, and then after everything after that is gonna be disrespect. That's Shaq. When he say I'm not a Nick hater, and then everything after that is hate. He just can't stand us. I don't know. I think they said it was something about how he couldn't stand how we did Patrick Ewing because he is from Jersey. You expect him to at least like the Knicks. It's close. It's close.
Yeah, but I don't know. Knicks in Jersey always had this. New York Knicks and the Nets always had this thing, so that could be it too. Like
maybe I forget they was in Jersey, right?
Yeah. Brought Pat back to the organization. There's nothing to be mad about anymore. He's back home.
Yeah, he's back home, but Shaq is still a fool. He's still holding on to everything. So yeah, definitely brought a stat. He just gave away $1,000. Whatever.
And I guess that what's the general? Those commercials is paying well.
Yeah, he just had $1,000 to blow like that.
They're paying well, and it's crazy because Shaq. I like him as a player and when he does for charity, but he really can't stand us. I used to think that Charles Barkley was the Nick hater, but when we play well, he sometimes he gives true what he sees analysts. So I don't know. Just Shaq hates us.
He does.
All right. We don't care. New Yorkers don't care who hate us. Join the line, Shaq. Join the line.
Get in the back.
I'm not sure if it's a bruh pick or an ooh pick. I have no idea. It's a scary pick because I'm not sure what it means. But the $500 billion investment that Trump unveiled today with the 3 software companies to do basically to build an AI infrastructure in America that will be based in Texas called Stargate. It's a combination of Oracle, SoftBank, and OpenAI. $500 billion to build out. I don't know what the AI is going to be powering or how it's going to be implemented into our daily lives, but it feels very Terminator 2. Skynet has become has went online, become self-aware. Always been as an 80s baby a little scared of AI. So to hear that level of investment, I don't know what's gotten that. I think that might be the highest investment that a property or an industry, an emerging one, has gotten off rip is insane. Yeah, I hope it creates jobs more so than it takes away or replaces. We'll see.
Yeah, I hear you. It is scary considering it's like, man, the more and more you start to hear these things, the more you have to start to think like, man, we have to go put our money into stuff that other people are investing in, because that seems like if there's gonna be jobs taken away because of AI, we got to get on the train of investing on things that's gonna be taking away jobs, so we can still have money in our pockets. Like,
Yep.
and didn't mean to turn this into a financial podcast, but like, I feel like 10 years, the world's gonna be so different. We're gonna have to think a lot differently than just 9 to 5.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that. People, I think what they're banking on is trying to separate from people, so they know the jobs that they are taking away. They get to make the same amount, maybe even more, and not have to pay average Joe or anybody else. And I hope it does make jobs, but I'm not very I'm not very optimistic about it. What I will say is people don't understand what a person will do when their back is against the wall. So to take away people's jobs, to take away people's rights, it may be, nothing now, but again, you don't know what happens when people feel like there is nothing else to do. So I think the rich and the politicians should really think about that.
I hope before the Armageddon happens, the Knicks win a championship. At least a chip before the world goes to hell. Otherwise, we're gonna be watching androids playing in knit uniforms.
Exactly.
That's gonna be weird. In a metaverse.
That's AI Jalen Brunson is gonna be crazy,
And some AI bum on the bench will come in and drop 40 on us. It'll still happen.
Oh my god! You're like, who's the man?
It's gonna be robots.
AI man?
Robots.
This? Man, I don't know.
Who's AI man?
This? That's too funny. It's gonna be robot men's and either NBA players' sons. That's gonna be the whole. That's gonna be the whole.
Yo, the AI versus NBA players' sons is funny.
That's it.
Oh my gosh, the AI version of AI versus. Versus Kaya and Anthony. Oh my god.
The Knicks have hired AI Isaiah Thomas to take over the Knicks.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
They're all over again. Oh man.
Oh, horrible. Horrible.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh. All right, yo. That's the show, man. Thank you guys for watching. Let me just shout out the chat real quickly. Y'all been rocking with us. Shout out to Dicky Yak. Shout out to Ala Wise. Shout out to Jean Mark. Shout out to the Predicate. Shout out to Felicia. Shout out to shout out to On Dios NYK. I feel like he's campaigning to be a mod, the way he's saying hit the subscribe button and join the comment.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate you. I see pics for Timmy up here.
Shout out to my guy Pics for Timmy.
It's
Alawise.
Deras. I see you, Deras. I see you.
I think Felicia Lee's earned that mod wrench as well.
Felicia's definitely earned the wrench. Ala Wise has been here for a while. Ala Wise has been here since Edson Sean. Actually.
Felicia agreed that we don't care. Yep. New Yorkers don't care who don't like it. We really don't. Yeah, that's it. Do I have any Ooh picks? No. I gave to Unrivaled. I'm gonna keep doing Unrivaled because I think everybody should watch it. Check it out. I believe it's Monday. Don't get me to fibbing when they come. I think it's Monday, Wednesday, and like Saturday or Friday. But you can check it out when they come on TNT too. So it's 3-on-3 basketball and it's fast paced, competitive ball. I think folks will like it.
That's what's up. Yeah, it looks interesting. Definitely want to check that out for sure.
It said talk about Mitch. Well, I seen Mitch with the daddy's home. That's what y'all wanted to say. Daddy, yeah, I see it. He looking slim. I'm hoping that's a sub saying he on the way. But I can't wait. But I'm loving that the team is learning how to gel defensively now. So they don't have to solely depend on that, and he could just implement it in his spots. But yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Right.
Patient.
Oh, yo, shout out to my TikTok people too. Shout out to user 3028. You don't have like a actual official name, but
Someone's burner.
yeah, shout out to whoever's burner is watching. Hey, Burner, if you like the content on TikTok, hey, subscribe, man. Seems like you're enjoying the show. You've been here for about 10 minutes. Uh, subscribe, and if you have any comments, we'll actually read it on TikTok. I'll read it on air as well. All right, cool. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching. Ebony, let them know where they can find you.
Oh, yeah, I'm about to say peace. You can find me here after every post game. You can find me on Your Take Knicks pregame space before every Knick game too. I'm on Twitter at Mad Knick Fan, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok. And yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, and Balling with the Queens. We try to do a weekly show now for Unrival. So if y'all want to come chop it up and talk some about some Unrival, you can do that on Twitter too on Saturday. I don't know the time yet, but I'll put it on my social medias.
All right. Lee, let them know, man, where you can find you, book club stuff, if anything.
On Twitter at _ Lee Escobedo. And today's book club, man, this is the best one I've read in a while. The inauguration, the AI stuff, the fires in California, man, shit's wild out there. So every time shit starts getting wild, which is kind of 24/7, I tend to get into my books just to escape, go somewhere else. And I bought a book on a whim. Someone didn't know is I love poetry. John Keene, who's an 80s and 90s poet, an African American poet. He came out with a book called Punks. And I didn't know anything about him. He's now in his 40s or 50s, but he grew up in the 80s during the AIDS epidemic. He's a gay black man, and he was in Greenwich Village in New York City. And he writes about an era that you kind of only hear the white gay perspective during the AIDS epidemic, when the Latinos and blacks and Asians and Arabs, everyone was affected by it in NYC. In his perspective, it's very beautiful because he doesn't write about the pain or the death. He writes about people he fell in love with and his family and the way that his mother's hair smelled, and said really beautiful passages just about life, the little things that you don't realize when it's happening, but you think about once that person's gone. They're the things that might resonate the most with you. And it's a really beautiful book. It's like love letters to people that have passed and people that he knew in life. And the cover is just amazing of the two Navy men grinning at each other. It's called John Keene's Punks, New Poems. Came out in 2021. Really beautiful book of poetry, and also won the National Book Award. So it's certified. It's amazing.
All right. Shout out to Lee for the recommendation.
Oh yeah.
All right, yo. You can follow us at the KLT Show on Twitter, the Nick of Time Show on Instagram, and the Nick of Time Show on Facebook as well. Also on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. And we will be back Saturday, Knicks versus Kings. Be there or be square. All right. That's the show, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. Like I said before, hit that like, hit that subscribe, share. And that's the way to spread the word for us to get the word out that K2 is here. All right. So that's the show, guys. Thank you guys for watching. And as always,
shout out the worldwide west. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks streets. That's the show. We out of here. Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.